Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Symphogear. Been a while since I said it, been a while since I did this rhyme, but indeed we are back in Symphogear, except in a different season. It's no longer Axis, now we are watching Symphogear XV. Episode 1. XV, am I correct? Did I put on the correct one? Indeed I did. XV, episode 1. What do I expect from this season? Well, far as I know, it's the last one. Although Symphogear as a series has already been in the situation where they didn't know if they're gonna get a future season multiple times now. So even if this season has a full satisfying ending, I have little doubt that they would be able to still milk it for some stories. But the question is, of course, do we want this world and these characters and the Symphogear franchise to be milked for more stories, just so that we can get more content? Or would we rather that the series ends while it's still good? While it still doesn't have, I don't know, whatchamacallit, fillers and stuff like that, and, some series, most series that run for a long time tend to devolve in the direction of lower quality filler stories, not really anything particularly satisfying, and we wouldn't want Symphogear to end up that way, would we? But again, the possibility exists. We know that they are working on another Symphogear project. We just don't know whether it's a sequel or a game or a spin-off or a movie, or what exactly are they planning. Maybe a stage play. That would be interesting for sure. Or a live action. Just please don't let it be made by Netflix. That'd be bad. Like really bad. So, again, I kind of went on a bit of a tangent there. What do I expect from this season? Well, we know that this season and Axis are essentially a two-parter, because the creators of the show knew that they have 2 seasons greenlit. So I'm assuming this season is going to continue some of the themes of Axis. And in Axis, sure, we defeated Adam, sure, we defeated the god power, so to speak. Sure, alchemists are also defeated, and even if they weren't, they would have probably joined S.O.N.G. But the can of worms, the Pandora's box of deities, essentially, has been opened. So my expectation for this season is that we will deal with those deities, with this godly power, with, I don't know, deification of Symphogear users, or whatever they want to do. We know that Custodians are still there, are still a threat, and we will probably have to deal with them sooner or later. The Curse of Balal hasn't been lifted, it's still a thing. All sorts of deities, or, well, whatever you want to call Custodians, I'm just gonna call them deities, because from what we hear, they essentially possess godly powers. So, all of those things can still come into play. Perhaps they will not like the fact that Earth got rid of the noise, and got rid of alchemists that were trying to disrupt the order of the planet in one way or another. Right? Custodians put noise on this planet for a reason, and now that the threat of noise has been eliminated, well, humanity might, God forbid, recover. They might start, I don't know, figuring out a common tongue, and what will we do when they do that? We can't allow for that. So I fully expect Custodians to have a little bit of a whatchamacallit, in a when someone is an alcoholic and they go on a binge and the whole family goes to their home to talk to them about that problem. That thing. That's like the only thing that comes to my mind that describes this word. Sorry for that. But yeah, Custodians are gonna come. Intervention. Intervention. The Custodians are gonna have a little bit of an intervention on Earth because the song and the alchemists and everything is slowly but surely unraveling their plans, and they are probably not too happy about it. So we will probably fight God. That's like my first prediction. I mean, prediction, right? So it needs to be written. Problem though, how much space do I leave? Do I leave for Oyuki Yumi no Kaina? I think I'm gonna give it like a couple more pages. And I'm gonna start here. Symphogear XV. Symphogear XV. We fight God. That's my prediction. Another prediction, what I feel is going to happen. Miku gets a henshin. It's been something that's also been a theme in Axis with Miku. She kept repeating how she also wants the power to protect Hibiki, how Hibiki only protects her, but Miku also wants to help her. She wants to be of use, she wants to help, she wants to protect, right? And what can give you a power to protect the Symphogear user? Well, another Symphogear. So that's like the logical conclusion, I think. That Miku will get a henshin. Although I noted it as Miku gets a henshin, not Miku gets a Symphogear, because maybe she gets an alchemist gear or something, right? That's another thing that was introduced in Axis, that alchemists can also have their own gear things. Although no, it was introduced even earlier because Carol also had a henshin that was also powered by alchemy. So maybe Miku is gonna get an alchemist gear. That's entirely plausible. Maybe some godly gear. Maybe we're gonna introduce a third mechanic. Why not? I see no reason why we wouldn't do that. Is it too bright? I wonder. No, that's not bright enough. Yeah, I think that's actually better. Okay. So Miku probably will get a henshin in one way or another. Maybe I'm just gonna change the color. Sorry for that. I should have been more prepared. Warmer tone? Warmer tone. Okay, whatever. What else? What else? I don't know, probably some fight in space. Because if we're fighting gods, if we're fighting otherworldly threats, of course we're gonna fight them in space. Maybe it's gonna be full Gurren Lagann, like galaxy scale fight, like Hibiki is gonna grow to the size of observable universe and punch God in the face. Maybe that's how it's gonna go. Maybe it's gonna be more tame, and I can't believe I'm using that word, like in Kill la Kill. I don't know, but fight in space, probably going to happen. And what else? There is also constantly the threat of other nations. Particularly the US doesn't seem to be particularly happy about how well Japan is doing. So I fully expect some other countries to interfere. Other country interference would be cool. Would be cool, and maybe it's pushing it, maybe it's stretching it, but it's something that's prevalent in like in some Mahou Shoujo shows, sure. It's mostly prevalent in like Power Rangers and other Super Sentai works, and Symphogear does take a lot from Super Sentai. What if America or some other nation creates their own team of Symphogear users? Perhaps they stole that technology, perhaps they had some older version of it, but then by applying some alchemy and science and bullshit to it, they figured their own version of freedom gear or whatever with screeching eagles and fireworks. And what if we have an antagonistic team of Symphogear users, right? Like an antagonistic trio. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Antagonist trio of non-gear users. Huh. Right? Like, that's something that's fairly common. We have a trio or a group of people who are using closely the same technology. Perhaps it's even better, but there's something to it because they're using the power of nearby people and not their own heart. Then sure, their power is frightful, but people around them fall ill and start getting nightmares whenever they get into action, and we need to stop them. And then they see the error of their ways and awaken empathy in their hearts and get a second henshin and join us. You know the drill. You know the drill. Something like that is also possible. And I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. Anything else that comes to my mind? Not really. I think I should just stop talking and we should start watching instead. Because I'm gonna spend a lot of time just talking, and it's already been over 10 minutes, over 12 minutes actually, so even longer than I thought. Maybe I'm gonna darken the scene a little. I don't know. No. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna be changing anything. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What matters is that we're gonna be watching episode 1 of Symphogear XV. It's going to be version by... Oh, let me check it. Symphogear XV version by... I mean, the same exact version that I've been using all this time. Quantum BD RIP AV1. It's a big pack with GGX, Axis, XV, and all the Zeshoshinai. So that's what I'm using, the Quantum version. So if you want to load the same exact one, you know which one it is. And of course, to follow along with the episodes, you're gonna need your subs. And why is it already starting? Shouldn't be. You're gonna need your subs and the timer, as always. I'm not gonna be showing the show, just the subs and the timer. You know the drill. I mean, you've probably been there for previous Symphogear series as well. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on because, I mean, music in Symphogear and all that. And I'm gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily. Patreon throne links in the description below. Or not, share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps the channel still. And now, with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 1 of Symphogear XV in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Bloody handprints in an underground temple. Whomst? An alchemist? Is this another thing like the one that Ver and his team tried to capture? We, being ancient humans, is this a flashback like 1,000 years back? He knows Fine, so that's a bit of a clue, I guess. Okay, I thought we were going for an opening, but no. Just in medias res. Every single season starts with them in some sort of a vessel going on some sort of a mission, I noticed. Okay, we have the MacGuffin for the season, sarcophagus. Sunken at Lake Vostok, apparently. So is it current time? The dying guy is like the now thing. This! Yeah, you better get going with wearing your gears. And it's snowing. Funny thing, actually, the day before yesterday, I posted on my Discord server, which you can join, by the way, there's a link here and in the description, photos of like crows and flowers sprouting. Oh, spring is coming. Today it started snowing. Sure, that's a great mindset. Are we getting a henshin? We're getting a henshin. Okay, brand new one. Alchemical heart. Hey, is only Hibiki gonna get alchemical heart? Or is everybody gonna get one? Ooh, oh! They really went balls to the wall with the henshins. Jesus! You didn't need to go this hard. You didn't need to go this hard. Okay. Thank you for that visual feast, what can I say? Also interesting that sarcophagus is a big robot monster. I thought it's a building, but sure. Oh, I like the swiveling body. They really know in this show how to make, like, very otherworldly designs. Despite it looking humanoid, the fact that the mid-body can swivel really makes it inhuman. And what are those? It's defending whatever is sealed inside of it, I'm assuming? Sure, yeah, makes sense. What are the contents, though? Forbidden technology? A custodian in suspended animation? Ooh, oh, the sound! Okay. They're going both to the walls, not just with the visuals, but also with the sound. AoE? AoE. What was it? Like, bone is my body and something is my sword? I don't know. Sword is my... Oh, Jesus! The visuals! Double spiral drill attack. You destroyed the weak spot. Now it's time for the second phase. Just slammed them. Okay. Thankfully, it's some sort of a sarcophagus, not aerial. Yeah, the shield field. And more of those crystalline pillar things. Negative 5100? Isn't that like absolute zero? Okay, so we know what's gonna be the next upgrade we get to our Symphogears. Something that lets us survive absolute zero temperatures. Been a while since we heard this school's anthem. It's been a while. Okay. Pass? Pass. Okay. I guess singing so much while saving the world did eventually make her learn how to sing. You're gonna learn to sing real fast if your life depends on how you sing. Yeah. Doesn't she always? It is. Denied. Okay, Christmas. Ooh, Lunar Development Project. Lunar Base? US. Okay, joined. That's better. I thought it's gonna be just the US shooting a rocket into the moon and then waking up some fucking custodian nursery or something. It's always the US that fucks things up for the world, isn't it? Yeah, don't. Don't. Don't talk about your life being ordinary. Because that's when it stops being ordinary. And yeah, that goes without saying. Hibiki would help you cause trouble. Are we turning Miku into a villain again? Are we turning Miku into a villain again? Villain Miku. There we go. Okay, what happened? Something that tipped them off for towards the existence of the sarcophagus. Tiki. Okay, and that's our tie into Axis. That stands to reason. It's frozen. Yeah. Yeah, it used to be placed somewhere else. Okay, environmental message. They did. uh, I mean, yeah, the drift of continents and all that. Continental drift. Or, sure. And they are also interested in the South Pole. Icy prison. Yeah. So, is whatever is inside of the sarcophagus the planet's protector, essentially? Since Adam wanted to destroy it in order to rule the planet. So it had to have been something that can stop him or hinder him. Thankfully, Hibiki has been recognized fully as a god slayer, so that's gonna help us. Oh, that logo looks crisp. I'm gonna have an easy time making the thumbnail, I feel. Early on, like the first Symphogear, I had to upscale the logo with AI because it was so tiny. Who are you? A vampire? And Kemono Mimi? Okay, alchemists. Gotcha. Hello there. I'm glad. Now, do your goals align with S.O.N.G or do they not? That is the question. We're trying to control it. Of course. I was about to ask, are you going to be smarter than the previous two batches of alchemists and you're going to work with S.O.N.G since your goals are aligned? But apparently not. I mean, sure, that's a concern. You just signed a death warrant on your entire team, but okay, the power of friendship, the power of empathy, the power of concern, warm hearts, melting the ice, and all that. That was completely and utterly out of nowhere, but sure. Also, does her relic have like yellow thingamajigs attached to it now? Yeah, it's not entirely red, it seems. Double whirlwind. Double big crossbow, Giga Zeppelin. Okay. We're seeing some new attacks. Silver Gospel. Okay, we see the yo-yos in use. And guided buzz saws. And already a group song. That's what it's all about. Not making sense is kinda our shtick, isn't it? Elf9 came in clutch. Yeah, analyzing attack patterns of enemies. Okay, that's a great song. We're this early on and we already have a song this amazing. It's the first episode and it feels like the finale. Feels like a finale. Okay, what now? Third phase. Okay. Gonna punch it? Gonna punch it. Of course, what else? But it can punch back. Is it? It's one of the very few enemies that actually punches back, isn't it? Datosh Temo. Indeed. Propellers to get her above water. Okay. We are really expanding the range of tools at our disposal, aren't we? Jesus, the visuals! Ah. Okay, where's the sarcophagus? In the sky, okay. Makes sense. Well, don't miss. Simple, isn't it? Yeah, everybody's relic has their own like colors to it. Giablaston. Again? Yeah, don't jinx it. Why did you have to get naked for it, though? Sure. Okay. Why not? The power of nudity compels you. Oh, are we really? Are we? Well, this episode was just a one elaborate fight, wasn't it? Oh boy. Oh boy. We're back to cliffhangers, aren't we? Oh, Symphogear. Oh, Symphogear. I was expecting something to happen there. Either it turns out the sarcophagus is still alive and well, or someone falls out of the sarcophagus, or it cracks open and there's something inside. That's like a real big, strong, powerful cliffhanger. And why does it look like the finale? Like season's credits. Did I use episode 12? Did I just watch the finale? No, I didn't. It's episode 1. Create a history with the light God could not know. Okay, after credits. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You better not have destroyed whatever was inside of the sarcophagus, though. Custodian? Custodian. I see something on its wrist that could be maybe used as a gear. Ah, just throwing it out there. It stood out a lot, so it's probably significant. Oh boy. I guess let's watch it again, shall we? Yes, we shall. Of course we shall. We always do. It's not even a question. Okay. So this seems to be current times, not like super far in the past. It happens. It's happening now, or is it? The wrist bit. The wrist bit looks like the wrist bit on the Corpus Dei, on the Anunnaki, on the Custodian. Is this guy a Custodian? Is he inside of the sarcophagus? I wonder. He's aiming at the moon. It is done. But we no longer have the time or even the words to fully explain ourselves. Is it going to be one of the situations where the antagonist is really not as bad as what the antagonists themselves are fighting against? Like, Kill la Kill example, right? Ryuko is fighting against the school, against Satsuki and the star students and all of that, and we think that those are the antagonists. Then it turns out the life fibers and all that, and Satsuki and her team go against the life fibers, and we join forces and we go against life fibers, right? Something similar also had place in Gurren Lagann, didn't it? uh, in many other anime. Is this the kind of thing? Like, Custodians placed the noise on Earth to maybe cull the um, development of humanity, because if humanity develops too much, the fucking Reapers are gonna arrive and bring everything and kill every like advanced civilization. And the Custodians really wanted genuinely to help humanity, not enslave it. Is this what we're going for? Is this what we're going for? Uh, Custodians are bad, but there are badder baddies. I wonder if that's what we're going for. Assuming this guy is a custodian, he might not be. Yeah, it's cold, it's snowy, and here comes the sarcophagus. And the henshin. I wonder if everybody's henshin gonna include the... this is the Philosopher's Stone. That's not Fool's Stone. This is distinctly Philosopher's Stone. I wonder, could it be because of Hibiki's connection with Saint-Germain? And the fact that she also was able to use like alchemical powers near the end with the spirit of Saint-Germain, Cagliostro, and Prelati with her. She has like bits and pieces of alchemy with her, and that's why we see Philosopher's Stone, or have their relics simply been enhanced with Philosopher's Stone by Elf9. She just grabbed the shards that were laying there, and maybe the data, maybe the knowledge, and just enhanced their relics like off screen. That could be it. And immediately just throws this at us. This like complete madness of colors and shapes and patterns. Usually henshins were like black background and maybe some of those like jumping music lines there, but it was very like minimalistic usually. This is mad, right? Like this was usually the henshin, not all those colors and shit. And here we have even like some 3D elements, and it's mostly animated on once. Yeah, it's just animated on once. Someone had to animate it on once. Hexagons, ever relevant, ever alive. Additional detail on everything. And the spin. That's like... If this henshin wasn't extra enough, we now add the spin. Something that's like one of the hardest things to do in 2D animation. Make a character spin, make things spin. And we just add it to the henshin because why the fuck not? Why wouldn't we? Right, like this whole thing with the spinning, the whole stage is spinning as Hibiki is kicking. Oh boy. I hope YouTube doesn't strike it. That's why I'm jumping around this much. Okay. Spin, spin, spin. This spin looks great, and it's done on once. It's animated on once. Explosion of hexagons, and each hexagon, again, we continue the theme where each hexagon makes a piece of her gear. And this just looks great, and so incredibly extra. It really reminds me a lot of Hibiki's first henshin, where it was like super big and super robotic and super like unnatural, right? All those wires and pipes flailing out of her back. It really reminds me of it. Like, it's larger than her, larger than her, larger than it needs to be. It just explodes in size and then gets condensed. You can almost like feel the density, right? It should be like Gundam sized. If it was allowed to be Gundam sized, it would be, but it's condensed and densed up to the size of a girl. That's the vibe I'm getting from it, and it's great. Those robotic hands with detail on the joints, and right, like those big, huge fists, they get condensed just to this form. How much mass and how much energy and how much everything is in this little fist, since this huge, like, mecha hand had to be condensed to this size. SGR03 Gungnir. Someone's probably gonna be able to decode this call sign in the comments. I'm counting on you. SG Symphogear R03, 03 because it's the third relic. What does the R mean? What does the prime mean? I mean, the apostrophe means prime, so usually denotes a second version or alternative version. So was her Symphogear remade and I forgot? Or does it signify like the changes done to it with Philosopher's Stone that gives it those like colorful tidbits? That's a lot of hexagons. And I love this swirly animation and those open bits that glow in red. It almost looks like a cross section of a fleshy bit. It kind of makes this gear feel a little more biological, I guess you could say, organic almost. And it just I love this bit. I love this animation. Holy shit. Holy shit. They didn't need to do that. They didn't need to do anything of that. Of course, focus on her ass. Because we can't get on without it. And even this has, like, screen hologram thing on it. Normal operation. And yeah, this fully unfolds. Her relic fully unfolds into a brand new form. Swinging, 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 kicking, kicking, kicking. And I really do like her scarf. That it's like an actual physical existing scarf. Because in previous henshins, she usually had it attached like to her back, like a cape, kind of sort of deal. Like Sayandana in Warframe. But this is like an actual scarf that she can hide her face with, for example. I like it. I really do. Gives her a little bit of that, like, I know, lone wanderer kind of vibe. Like, I don't know, the world is destroyed, they failed, everything went to shit, and there is Hibiki in her scarf pulled up to her nose, walking across the desert trying to find, I don't know, something, right? That's the vibe I'm getting from her getup, and I love it. And it's so detailed. Like, this time, I can tell it's a different look than in previous seasons. Oh boy. What are those crystals? We don't know. I hope we learn what they are. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just not significant. Could be packed ice for all we care. I got tired talking about that henshin. I need a moment. Oh man. Whew. A little sweaty. Fight, fight, fight. And we're seeing this sound. that great. It wasn't there in previous seasons, and I love this addition of sound to it. And of course, spinny attacks and whatnot. Wait. Oh no, never mind. Or maybe might. I'm not sure. There's like a line going across her legs that got here from those like yellow trails around her. That's her scarf. It almost looks like it's a flat 3D plane that just shot from the side. I wonder if it's actually done with CG, with a lot of bloom and a lot of glow to it. Interesting. And she also uses her scarf to attack, which is great. I love using capes and scarves as a weapon. That's why I really enjoyed Maria and her like initial combat style with the cape. They're doing some ballet. Sure, why not? Who if not them? I mean, let's be honest here. Combined attacks. We are like right from the get-go introducing a bunch of new attacks. And straight direct combo attack of Hibiki and Maria. And again, the mechanical detail. I love how Hibiki's yellow bits and the red bits as well actually look metallic this time around. They usually were just yellow, but in the previous season they already started giving them that metallic shine, and this season increases that even further, really exemplifies on it, emphasizes on it. And the same goes for Maria. 2 drills that can pierce the heavens. Apparently not enough, and there's even the detail on Maria's weapon. I love the mechanical design in this series. I really do. Fields or Gears project can't handle this. Too cold. Too cold at negative 5100 degree what? Celsius, Kelvin? Yeah, interfering with the principles of the universe beyond the laws of physics. Okay, tell me the temperature. It can't be negative Kelvin, because negative 5100 degree what? Not Kelvin, because 0 degree Kelvin is absolute zero. And absolute zero is, I think, like negative 6700 Celsius? No. No. Absolute zero is negative 273 Celsius, negative 459 Fahrenheit, 0 Kelvin. So, no wonder she said that it's interfering with the principles of the universe beyond the laws of physics, because the temperature is colder than the absolute zero. At absolute zero, movement of particles stops. All the atoms, all the electrons, all the tiny little particles just stop moving. It essentially freezes time. Going below absolute zero? I've no clue. One thing for certain, they shouldn't be able to move if it freezes the particles themselves. Negative 5100 degrees Celsius, that's what? 10, 20 times lower than negative zero. Okay. What happens below absolute zero? I mean, zero is absolute. You can't get lower than absolute zero. You can't really even get to absolute zero. It's theoretically possible, but nobody achieved that. We managed to get to like a few trillionths of a degree from absolute zero, but not below that. Uh, okay. I guess I'm just gonna have to hand wave it. I'm just gonna hand wave it. Okay, sure. Negative 5100 degrees Celsius. Very fucking cold. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. And we're back at Lydian. Really been a while since we heard the school anthem. I'm glad we get a chance to do that. That was one of my biggest criticisms of Axis, how the stakes weren't grounded. Because sure, the whole world was at stake. Okay, whatever. What's important is that my friends can get hurt and my school can get destroyed. Those are the real stakes that we can, the stakes that we can emphasize with. But there was almost none of the slice of life thing in Axis. So if we get a little bit more slice of life in VX, good. This is a good start. This is a good start. We re-establish, or reinforce, I guess, Hibiki's relationship with Miku. And the fact that Hibiki's life is getting, like, better. She passed the exam, she's all happy, right? She spent nice Christmas with Miku, buying gifts for their friends, on a date together. Right? They had a nice time eating taiyaki on a spinny thing, and talking, and having a heart to heart. And those are the stakes. We established the stakes. Now I'm worried that something's gonna happen to Hibiki. Now I'm worried that something's gonna happen to the world. Fuck the world, right? But Miku lives in the world, so could be nice to save it, right? This is great. The US really doesn't want to do that. They were probably forced into that cooperation after they were threatened with Japan revealing that it was the US who sent the nuke to Japan, and nuking Japan is a touchy subject. Lunar base. They're gonna fuck something up. 100%. They're gonna land on the moon and they're gonna open some ancient sarcophagus, and the custodian's body that we found here is gonna be resurrected, or they're gonna find another sarcophagus with a living custodian inside of it this time, or something along those lines. And we have this question. What if I was the one causing trouble? And Hibiki kind of froze. Right? Like, she gets super serious and super dramatic. Like, oh. What if you did start causing trouble? Wait, would you? Would you? Like, her entire worldview just started spinning in her head. I noted down villain Miku. I wonder if that's what we're going for. If that's foreshadowing of villain Miku. Are we going to give her another Shanhaijing? No, not Shanhaijing, Shenshojing. Shanhaijing is a school in Blue Archive, so sorry for mistaking that. Are we getting her another Shenshojing? Or some other relic, right? I'm using Shenshojing as an example because it was the only relic she used so far. Or are we going for a bit of an arc for Hibiki? She always, her and her friends and her relationships always went through. We are enemies first, but I open my heart to them and we become friends, right? I grab their hand and we become friends. Enemies to friends was always the progression. Either enemies to enemies or enemies to friends. What if friends to enemies? I'm not saying one of the members of S.O.N.G or even Miku would betray the cause. But what if the alchemists that we saw near the end tried to befriend Hibiki? And oh, we're great friends, we're the bestest of friends, and then betrayal. Hibiki hasn't really dealt with betrayal yet, did she? I'm gonna note down. Let's separate it. Betrayal. That's not how you write betrayal. Betrayal. And more, in more concrete words, alchemists befriend and betray Hibiki. I don't know why, but I started writing letter R, like starting high, like going for a K, but I don't know. I need to write manually a little more, I guess, to not forget this precious skill. Okay, we're halfway through. Of course, things go to shit because they always do. Floating lab, experimenting with Tiki. And I wonder if we're gonna be able to find something else in Tiki. We found the location of... Yeah, polar ice is melting, and now the all sorts of things are going to start emerging. There's already talk of like some super virus and super bacteria and shit like that frozen in the polar ice caps, and as it's melting, it's gonna start releasing them. The world is not a fun place to live in currently, is it? But hey, at least we have anime to distract us from our earthly woes, so all is good in the world. Frozen scorpion that got there from Middle East. Continental drift would be my first assumption, but sure, perhaps some ancient civilization did bring it there somewhere, maybe among their wares or stuff like that. Then again, I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense. People were traveling a little bit more than we give them credit for back in the olden days. So it's actually possible that some sort of a caravan or explorers or whoever from the Middle East made it to the South Pole, going through Africa. The southernmost part of Africa isn't that far from Antarctica, so you could reasonably swim through that ocean if you had a boat or something, right? It's not that big of a distance. It's possible this whole thing could be a trap. As it turns out, it kinda was. They're having some... They found some really nice photos. If your tomorrow, in your future lies only despair. Seems to be the case. For the most part. And yeah, here we have another group of alchemists. A vampire and a someone. Multicolored fluffy hair always makes me think it's some sort of a kemonomimi. Some sort of a animal girl, but she doesn't have like cat ears poking underneath her hood, so maybe not. Maybe she's a bird. I don't know. The girl on the left, a vampire, though. That's easy to spot. It's a nice jingle. I guess right when you're using telepathy, you don't have a ringtone, and just talking suddenly would startle them, so makes sense that she would use a jingle to alert them. Hello, mommy. We have a new villain, and as they say, if evil, why hot? So maybe she's not evil after all. That's some cool design. I've no clue what those, like, bracelet things around her ankles are supposed to be, but I don't mind it. In general, it looks like it's some sort of a combat uniform, right? Those like knee pads. Yeah, the knee pads, the skewed eyes at different heights. I just noticed it and I can't unsee it. It doesn't look like her head is turned. It looks like one of her eyes is on her forehead. I wonder if it's some sort of an alchemical, some sort of an alka gear that she's wearing. And what is this place? What is this place? I've no clue. And apparently an act of good, an act of care, an act of empathy was enough to melt the ice around Hibiki. Interesting mechanic for sure. I wonder if we're gonna make more use of that. Or is it simply convenience? Right? We don't know how to free Hibiki from this situation, so fuck it. Power of friendship, power of care, power of love. That's gonna give Hibiki the power, right? Take my strength, Hibiki. We're gonna have everybody in front of their TVs doing that, and that's what helped Hibiki. Makes perfect sense. Maybe. I don't know, and I don't care particularly much, to be perfectly honest with you. So don't worry. And yeah, we are fighting. We're back in combat, and we get the first group song of the season. Something usually reserved for like fairly late in the season, or even like the finale. The big fight, the big attack, all of them have to come together, sing a common song, all of them at once in harmony, and that's the only thing that can help them, right? That's usually how it goes. But we are opening with it. We're opening with a group song. And everybody's getting some cool new attacks with a lot of electric beams, I noticed, which is cool. And she learned how to shoot multiple of those big arrows. Everybody gets new attacks. Shirabe can just turn her bassos into remotely controlled yo-yos, which is great. Incoming punch it, you're making no sense, but she does it anyway. Absolute trust and absolute disregard for reality. I think that's how I would sum it up. Trust is one thing, disregard for reality is another, right? Like, I can trust someone, but if they tell me to punch a train that's coming straight at me, I probably wouldn't do that. I would have to have complete disregard for reality, and Hibiki has it. And you kind of have to have it to be a part of this team, let's be honest. Wind of Axia, blow our tears away. Don't let the pain distract you from what's away. Our song rings for the world. Now the miracles we hold will be our strength that we build together, but they never stop believing in the friendship. So a friendship song. Hurt me just as much as I hurt them. The blade-shaped words I spat to keep others from understanding hurt me just as much as I hurt them. Okay, so everybody has sings their piece about themselves. I've always kept taking the next step forward, no time to even wipe my tears. Perfectly fits Hibiki, and those tears drenched my wings, weighing them down. Too heavy to fly, I cried again. Perfectly fits Tsubasa. I reached for the warm sun, but it was beyond my grasp. It was so painful I couldn't bear it. Again, I fought tooth and nail to reach the blue sky up so high. And something else. But it was so far I just stopped helplessly. The blade-shaped words I spat to keep others away from understanding hurt me just as much as I hurt them, but I never stopped believing in the friendship that we built together over the past years. Everybody checks out. Wind of Axia. Just gonna note down Axia. And we're gonna Google it real quick. Actually, we're gonna Google it right now. Why wait? Is Axia anything like super particular? It's okay. It's an whatchamacallit? I need to translate. Yeah, Axia, at least in Poland, is contraceptive pills. Cool. First result. Axia, yeah. Yeah, contraceptive pills. That's the only result I'm getting. Axia mythology. I don't know. Axia mythology, there we go. Minian princess as the daughter of King Clymenus of Orchomenus and Budeia, daughter of Lycus. That tells me enough. Yeah. She was the sister of Erginius, Stratoion, Archonpileus, Azeus, and Eurydice. Okay. Wife of Nestor of Pylos. A town in Ozolian Locris was named after her. Sure. Tells me absolutely nothing, but I know the origin. Okay. Don't let the fear distract you from the miracle of humanity. Not even death can take us down. One for all, live to your fullest. And they fell the giant. Not quite defeated yet, but fallen, at least. This is actually great. Oh no, she can't sing because she's underwater. But there's song in her heart. She doesn't need to sing. Because the song is right here. You don't need to vocalize it. You need to internalize it. When the song lives inside of you, you don't need the chant. That's great. That's cool. I like it. It really falls into the, like, usually in fantasy series, what shows your mastery over magic. The fact that you don't need to use chants, you don't need to use wands, you don't need to use orbs, you don't need to use any of that, right? When you're good at magic, you say abracadabra and you cast a spell, or you use a wand, or you use, I don't know, a magic orb, right? Abracadabra, and you zap enemies with electricity, or whatever. But when you're a master, you don't need any of that. You just stand still and the enemies around you start burning, because you chanted it in your head. And that's similar, right? She doesn't need to sing. She doesn't need to perform anything. She doesn't need to bring the song and create it and instantiate it, right? She doesn't need any of that because the song is here constantly. She doesn't need to seek it. She doesn't need to bring it. She doesn't need to create it. It's there. That's cool. And yeah, Datoś temo, fist propellers, and I don't know what to think of the colorful relics, to be perfectly honest with you. On most people, they look good. On Maria, clashes a lot with her blue bits. Yeah, I think on everybody it looks decent, but I don't like how it looks on Maria, and I don't really like how it looks on Tsubasa, because the only thing that has the same color, the same shade of blue, are her earphones. Yeah. Okay, something to get used to, for sure. Gear Blast. That's a new move they learned. They just get naked and use the power of nudity to shoot down the targets. I love this bit of UI that she actually has that in her eye. Seeing Hangfire, terminal, display, normal. She can like switch display modes. Anti-aircraft, CLU, LTA, direct. That's great. And this is great. The self whatchamacallit? Self not realization, but like knowing the trope is what I'm gonna call it. Jinxing. Jinxing is a common thing, right? Oh, Christian, your birthday is coming. I'm gonna give you the best present. That's how we set the death flag. So shut the fuck up, Hibiki. And Chris did exactly that, said exactly that. I like it. I really do. You can jinx yourself, but leave me out of this. It's over 9,000! G3FA Hexa Revolver. Sure. I don't know what G3FA stands for. Hexa Revolver. Hexa, there's 6 of them. Why revolver? I don't know. Nothing is revolving there unless they mean the beam revolving around itself. That's not how a revolver works. Success. This prelude to tragedy will break this all apart. You may try to struggle against your path, then devote all your body, all your life, and stand up. Dragging down the lost lambs into hell, I believe, in the warmth of your hands. Find all your faith. Her tears of blood spill down even as she smiles. Her tears of blood spill down even as she smiles. Either Hibiki or Miku is gonna bleed from their eyes. Hibiki or Miku bleed out of their eyes. Remember what it means to be you, to rise again. After credits. Thank you, because the cliffhanger was brutal. It's a miracle that with this much destruction to the sarcophagus, something inside was intact. And apparently all you need is a fancy stethoscope to open it. And inside is a mummy. It's a mummy with a gauntlet-looking thing. Some might call it Corpus Dei, the body of God. The wrist thing is gonna be relevant. The head thing, maybe as well. I don't know. Dun dun dun. What I do know is that it's teal in color, and we don't have anybody teal in the team. We have blue, we have green, but nobody teal. We don't have anybody purple though either. I was trying to think that, hey, maybe Miku is gonna get it and use it as a Symphogear, and she's gonna be the teal warrior. But there's purple, a much more obvious niche. Although she was purple when she was using Shanghai Jing. So maybe we will not want to reuse the color. We're gonna want to use something else. And teal is right here. Huh? I might be onto something. I want to compare quickly this guy's arm piece with this guy's arm piece. No, it's different. It's different. Same color scheme, gold and teal, but it's different. So this guy is not the custodian. Okay. So what's left now? This is left now. There we go. I can take off my headphones, close this, and we can take a brief look at what? Studio Satellite. That hasn't changed. Or has it? No, they've always been making Symphogear, or at least Axis, and many other shows. Axis, GX, G, yeah, the studio hasn't changed. What are their plans for the future? Helk, whatever that is, and Rokudo no Onnatachi, whatever that is. Okay, no mention of future seasons of Symphogear, sad, but what can you do? Somali they made, interesting. So that hasn't changed, of course. Original source, voice actors, I don't think they changed. If they did, I can't hear it, so let's leave it at that. Oh, Saint Germain is making an appearance, probably in a dream or something. Misha, Gary, Farah, I hope it's not spoilers. Okay, I wanted to check those people that have appeared. Elsa, and I was correct about her being Kemonomimi, Kana Ichinose. Kana Ichinose also voiced who? Someone in Dr. Stone. Soleta, okay. Voice actress of Soleta. Of Miku from DIY. Of anybody else I would recognize. Oh, right, when I was going through voice actors in Gundam, I did notice that she made an appearance in Symphogear as a cat girl. And I think I even made a comment that, oh, cat girls in my Symphogear? And yes, cat girls in my Symphogear, apparently. Ichigo, Darling in the Franxx, and not many more roles besides that. And then we have Milark, the vampire girl, voiced by Aimi. Aimi Terakawa. Okay, that's the full name. And she also voiced Julia, whoever that is, in Idolmaster. Also voiced... I don't really recognize any of those people. Plenty of idol anime I see. Bank Dream. Idol and musical anime. Here she is, Milark, in Symphogear, and of course in Zeshoshinai as well. Idolmaster, Card Fight, Idolmaster, Plastic Memories, Hentai Oji to Arawai Neko, and roles singing OPs and EDs and stuff, okay. And then we have Vanessa, voiced by Mao Ichimichi. Mao Ichimichi also voiced Shion in Slimito. And who else? Ashuna from... Okay, Ashuna. Actually, yeah, I can see that. Ashuna from Virgin Road. Pecorine from Precon. The difference between Ashna and Pecorine is vast, but okay, I can see that. And anybody else? Some more gacha roles. Besides Pecorine, she's not really in any gacha that I would play. And here she is as Vanessa in Symphogear. And who else? Someone in Promare, another show I need to watch one day. There's so many shows I need to watch one day. When one day comes, I'm gonna be busy. I meant I. And nobody else I would recognize, I'm afraid. 2016. Okay, Luluko from Space Patrol Luluko. There is someone I recognize, there we go. Akane from Jitsu wa Watashi wa. That one I recognize. Someone in Fate, Europa, and anime stuff roles. And that does it. I'm not gonna scroll any lower because I I started noticing unknown characters, and I don't even want to get into that in fear of spoilers. Staff, I frankly don't remember who was the staff on the previous season, and I'm not gonna spend the time comparing them. You can go through that yourself, of course, if you want. Akifumi Kaneko stays as the original creator, of course, and series composition and script. So we can expect more Symphogear, essentially. Sorry. Okay, and I don't think my anime list is gonna show us anything more. So I think we can just end it here. There we go. So that's a great opening to the season, for sure. But it feels like an ending to the season, like the finale, like the energy of it, and the scale of it, and the group song, and the brand new attacks, and the combined attack, and all of that really feels like a finale. But it's not. It's not even the midpoint. What am I even saying? It's the beginning. It's literally the first season. So we already had something of the intensity and quality of a finale, and now we need to climb even higher. So I think my prediction, we fight God, is gonna come true. Because where do you go from here? We fought the embodiment of God in the finale of the previous season, and of course the stakes are supposed to only rise. So if we fought the embodiment of God, now it's time to fight God proper. Right? That's how the progression goes. Which also makes me think, what would they do in the hypothetical next season? If we fight God in this one, if we delete Custodians, what can they potentially do? Unless we go into the whole thing of Custodians are bad, but there are badder baddies. That would be their only venue. Right? We defeated Custodians, and then we celebrate because the world is safe now. But then next season, we analyze the old Custodian temple, and we figure that, oh, Custodians were really trying to protect this galaxy from intergalactic threat. Well, shit. Now the Custodians are no more, so we are gonna have to protect this whole fucking galaxy from an intergalactic threat. And we grow the stakes even higher. Then, after 3 more seasons of protecting the galaxy, well, we deleted the Custodians Prime that were a threat to the galaxy, but it turns out, no, they were just protecting our galaxy. It turns out they were just protecting our reality, because there are interdimensional threats. And we're now fighting on an interdimensional level. We could grow it ad infinitum. Oh. That was intense. I'm tired. I'm honestly tired. I'm glad it ended where it ended, because if they were to give us some more significant things, my brain is so fried, I would probably just not notice them. I would probably just gloss over everything there, because like I didn't even want to spend the time going through the staff particularly much, because, or going through whatever might be on Mal that wasn't there on Anilist, because I quite frankly just want to end this episode. I just want to end this video and go to rest my facial muscles from smiling and grinning, and rest my throat from talking so much, and just absorb what happened. Every single season, this is crazy about Symphogear, right? That every single season gets only better and better. Usually when you have shows that span multiple seasons, there's that thing where where the first season is decent, then the second season is much better because the first season sold well and they got more funds and more people and more knowledge and talent and stuff like that, right? So the second season can be better. Then after second season is a success, third season is kind of falling falling short because, well, people now recognize the brand, they recognize the IP, so they're gonna watch it just because it's their favorite IP, so we can just not try. And the third season is usually really bad, and the fourth season, or at least it's worse, and the fourth season is usually even worse. Then they start getting scathing reviews, and they're like, oh shit, we must really try for the fifth season, and the fifth season jumps back up to being good. Right, that's usually how it goes. No such thing with Symphogear. Like every single season is a steady progression of improvement. In terms of visuals, in terms of audio, in terms of, I mean, I can't really judge the story of this season yet because we experienced absolutely none of it. But it's only getting better and better, is what I'm trying to say. And this episode's visuals, holy shit. They really went balls to the wall with it. They really did. They really did. Spared no expense and just said, fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's just spend half the time we have to make this season just making henshins, and they did just that, and it's glorious. And so after this episode, after first episode, do I revise my my ideas for future seasons, for future episodes, for the season as a whole? I don't think I do. I still think we're gonna fight God. I still think Miku is gonna get a henshin. Maybe the weird bracelet the Custodian has. Because I don't think we have any other relics at our disposal, at least none that I know of. Maybe something that was left by the alchemists, like the Alka pistol remains or something, I don't know. But those things, those treasure, those bracelet and the hairpin thing are the obvious things, unless we find something else in the over the course of it, or unless Miku is just not gonna get a henshin. That's also entirely possible, right? Why does she have to have a henshin? Sure, it would be a hype moment. Absolutely. I would be super hyped for it. But hasn't her character all this time been all about the normalcy? The one normal thing in Hibiki's life, the one constant, the one oasis that Hibiki can always go to, can always reach for in search of some normalcy? Hasn't Miku's thing been all this time that she's helping, not by fighting, not by being on the front lines, but by being a good friend, by making some beef stroganoff, yeah, by being her son, by providing Hibiki with the warmest place in the world? She already has superpowers, if you think about it that way. Does she need a Symphogear on top of that? I wonder if that's what they're gonna go for here. Miku is just not going to get a henshin, period. People expect it, people might be hyped for it, some people might be disappointed by it, but it's not Miku's role. That's just all there is to it. They could go that way, the more like deep, meaningful way, or they could just give her a dope ass henshin scene. That also works. That also works, and I would be also perfectly fine with that. But yeah, now that got me thinking, does she really need a henshin? Maybe not. Maybe not. Antagonist trio of non-gear users, I wonder if those 3 alchemists that we just met are going to be the folly to our trio, our Hexio plans. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they're gonna be open villains. Maybe they're gonna befriend Hibiki and betray her promptly. Villain Miku, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Where are we going from now, though, like strictly speaking? We found a custodian. Is that custodian dead, or is it gonna just wake up and sow destruction? Possibly. Maybe. Or maybe it is dead. If it is dead, what can it give us? New technology, new power-ups for relics, new relics, new information about what custodians even are, how to defeat them, how to save the world, assuming the world needs saving. It seems to me like perhaps the custodians aren't even going to be the villains of this season. It's going to still be the alchemists, our brand new batch of alchemists. And custodians are just going to remain those like old dead gods that are just somewhere and they don't really actively work against or with us. That, or the alchemists do something stupid and wake up a custodian, and the first half of this season is fighting against the alchemists and the second half is fighting against the custodians, either after having defeated the alchemists or after having joined forces. Either or. Either or. Anything else? As far as my hopes go, I hope we get some more slice of life moments. I still believe those were very important in early seasons, and I still do feel they are severely lacking from later seasons. They really allowed us to ground the stakes. Right now they're lofty and world-spanning, but they aren't that grounded. And I think that's it. I don't want to sit here and just keep repeating myself, going in circles, so I think I'm just gonna stop here and wait for the next episode to come. Or maybe I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, I don't know, we'll see. Right now, yeah, that's gonna be it, but maybe you have something more to add, something more to say, something more to explain. Do that in the comments, of course, down below the video. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please, I beg of you. You don't want me to be spoiled, and I don't want me to be spoiled, so we will both lose if you do spoil me anything. If you do want to talk spoilers with fellow fans of the show, though, there is always my Discord server here, and also linked in the description. Click the link, join it, and there's a Symphogear channel where you can use spoiler tags and talk spoilers with fellow people who are up to date with the show. And you can laugh at me guessing wrong, or you can be in awe at me guessing right without me knowing what you're talking about. Perfect. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Symphogear XV, not Axis, XV, but also Oyuki Yumi no Kaina, also Benria Saito-san Isekai ni Iku, and other shows that will be coming in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell to be notified when I do go live, and you can also get notifications on my Discord when you join it. Already said that. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or Throne, links in the description below. On Patreon for $10 a month, you can get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear, like Madoka and others, and for just $1 a month, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And on Throne, you can pitch indirectly towards my purchase of better gear, better software, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, but still want to help the channel, Share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel an awful lot. Genuinely, my channel really skyrocketed up in views and in subscribers when people started recommending my Symphogear videos on like Symphogear Discords and Symphogear Reddits and other Symphogear groups. So it works. It works and costs you nothing again. So, yeah, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And here you have my current list of patrons. You can be one of them, and you don't need to face off against God to do that. Or something.